Initially, I didn't have any proper direction. There were no proper notes. I just simply picked whatever was available in the market, like you guys might have known, where it is very difficult for a non-arts humanities background student to get into terms with that kind of language. Then accidentally, one of my friend, he is a 2023 batch IS. He happened to share his subscription access to me, which was Karandeep Sir's video classes. And since I was desperate to understand theories and get the clarity, I started to watch those videos. Only his videos can give you the clarity and depth that is required for a UPSC Anthropology paper 1. You can't get it from any other book, or not even ChatGPT for that matter. Other disciplines tend to see things from one perspective, but anthropology allows you to think from all perspective and create own in-depth perspective on it. So that is the beauty of this subject. But when I filled these gaps and started to write some daily answers, I would write only 3 to 5 answers at best. That together helped me to improve my score to 303. Hello, good afternoon, friends. I'm Sandeep Badad, All India rank 82 this year. Like ma'am said, I scored 303 in anthropology, almost equal marks in both papers, 151 and 152. Today, I want to share how I fared through this journey. Hope that this will help you guys to excel in anthropology and fulfill your dream of getting into IS. So, to begin with, anthropology is one subject which I feel everyone must know before they are opting for it, that it is very interesting, and the kind of perspective that it provides, it's unparalleled. There is no other subject which can provide the holistic insights which anthropology provides. Suppose you might have already studied in your basic anthropology, the first chapter, where it compares with other disciplines. Other disciplines tend to see things from one perspective, but anthropology allows you to think from all perspective and create own in-depth perspective on it. Suppose if we are to take an example, if you are looking at a person, a businessman would only see his economic status of it. A political aspirant could see how he is talking to people and how he is good with repo building, and some other professional like a doctor could see how fit he is. But anthropologist can see all of three characters at once. So that is the beauty of this subject. So if you begin with this understanding, probably you will enjoy it more, and throughout learning phase will be interesting, and it will definitely help you score well. So now coming directly to the preparation strategy, anthropology, like you all know, has two papers, but the foundational thing for the entire discipline is theories. Because any subject or any discipline, whatever discipline you take, be it sociology, PSIR, economics, everything is built on some foundational frameworks which we call as theories. So theories are the basement for any discipline, and for anthropology these are the master key, because only if you understand the theories, then we can understand the sociocultural anthropology, because it is the lens which allows you to see why society is in such a specific manner and why people behave in a specific way. And after understanding theories, you need to have two specific strategies for paper 1 and paper 2. Paper 1, it's more about objective kind of paper, where the marks is mainly for the physical portion. The scoring is heavily concentrated in that portion. Paper 2 is mainly about analytical orientation. you can score really well if you grasp the concepts and are able to use the theories and the thinkers and Indian anthropologists in the paper. You will be able to score well. So I believe you should keep these two perspectives in mind whenever you're preparing for paper 1 and paper 2. And now coming to what I uh, did in my anthropological study. Initially, I didn't have any proper direction. There were no proper notes. I just simply picked whatever was available in the market, like you guys might have known. So I was reading. I could not understand things, but simply I was going through them without much clarity. So despite reading for 2 years and having written mains for 2 years, my score was very subpar. I knew that there is clear gap in understanding and knowledge on the subject. And then I was looking for the proper things where I can really get the clarity and hold on the subject. Then my first uh, I got onto IGNO material. The IGNO BA and MA course allowed me to begin everything from scratch, read like a textbook. So I picked right from the BA bachelor's in anthropology course, and I started to read it directly from the IGNO website. But as I went on reading, it was never ending, and the kind of language that has been used in the IGNO was a bit of scholarly, where it is very difficult for a non-arts humanities background student to get into terms with that kind of language. And the conceptual explanation was scholarly kind of thing. The clarity was again very dim there. I even studied Upadhyay and Upadhyaya for theories, but again, except for evolutionary, the classical evolutionism, all other theories went overhead. Uh, then accidentally, one of my friend, he is a 2023 batch IS. He happened to share his subscription access to me, which was Karandeep Sir's video classes. And since I was desperate to understand theories and get the clarity, I started to watch those videos, and they are very tiresome, very long videos and very in detail. I spent nearly 1 month for theories itself uh, after giving 2 mains, but that was worth investing. The kind of clarity that I got from the understanding of Sir's videos, I made notes at that point of time, and until my this year's mains, 2026 mains, it took only 1 hour to revise chapter 6 for me. Generally, it would take half day or 1 day for people to revise, but if you have that kind of clarity, it will take half an hour to 1 hour to revise the entire chapter 6. So such was the clarity I got, and that has helped me a big time. So theories is one part, and coming to overall how you approach the anthropology, there are four key things that I would like to tell. Do we have a marker? One is like I said, conceptual clarity. The other is framework based notes. Third one is daily answer writing. and fourth one is tests during mains. So this was my approach. My focus on this was 60%, and this was 30%, and this is 10%. Because the kind of questions that have been asked these days in anthropology, it is above par and comparable to any other well developed disciplines. So we need to have more emphasis on conceptual clarity and in depth understanding of things, because earlier it used to be a bit simpler, but nowadays this clarity is quintessential. So focus more on this understanding part, and daily answer writing part is equally important, else you will not be able to score despite having thorough understanding of things. And test series, why I put it for 10% is this covers bulk of the job. This is only for time, I believe, and you are putting yourself in stressful conditions. So this was my strategy, and like I said, this is the master key for me in scoring 303. And the Smith who helped me made this key was obviously Karandeep Sir's theories notes, and epidemiology and tribe nation state. These three are the most vulnerable units where most of the candidates or fellow aspirants fail to understand properly. And these three were my biggest gaps in my preparation earlier when I scored 250. But when I filled these gaps and started to write some daily answers, I would write only 3 to 5 answers at best. That together helped me to improve my score to 303. So this has been my journey. Coming to resources, like I was discussing, where to rub? Oh yeah. Resources, I referred IGNO BA and MA. And I referred theories, epidemiology, Indian anthropologists, and tribe nation state. And third thing that I referred is Akshat Jain sir's Demystified for Answer. And let's not forget, these days we have one more magical tool, ChatGPT. I used it for keeping up myself up to date with the current affairs in anthropology and analytical questions. So I relied on these four aspects uh, in boosting my preparation. After that, there are few more things which I would like to share, because all these things can ensure you the base marks. Generally, 260 is considered as the base marks. If you are good with these basic level of preparation, uh, generally you are expected to score 260. But what after that? How to give it a booster and make it 300. For that, you need to add your own pinch of magic sparkle. How you can do it? I have few tips. I think that has worked for me this time. Maybe it could work for you as well, but you should be judicious in using them and try to adapt it in your own comfortable way. One is sir. Sir, okay. One is okay. Let me not put it. One is connecting theories to the topics. Theories is not just one isolated chapter. Rather, theories is the lens through which every other concept is discussed. So, if you are discussing of the concept of family, you are discussing it through various theoretical lenses. So, you should try to connect theories with the other topics as well. So, connection of theories with the other topics. That is one tip. The second tip is you should depict and express clarity in your answers. The conceptual clarity should be expressed by words, because when the reader feels that he has understood the things well, the impression will ensure that you are given good marks throughout the paper. If you are not good with the clarity of concept, it will take hit on all other questions as well. That impression remains. So that is my second tip. The third tip is don't try to accumulate too much, but work too much on understanding, but keep only few things, the facts, for writing purposes, because it is even difficult to reproduce 60 to 70% of what you have studied here. Even if you are able to reproduce that much, your score will be above average. So that is the key challenge here. And the fourth one, which I tried to use in my own way, is trying to connect the contemporary happening to anthropology. One example I would like to share here is there was this controversy going around the young prodigy Vaibhav Suryavanshi, the age related controversy whether he is eligible for the IPL and IPL league. There was this bone test conducted for age determination. So you can use that in forensic anthropology. So such kind of things, if you are able to use it, somewhere the examiner would understand that this guy has that anthropological eye, and since they are academicians themselves, they somewhere want to reward that candidate. So that could help you in a big time. Apart from that, uh, yes, one last thing, collaboration. Try to make a peer group of your own where you are comfortable, and try to write daily answers and review amongst your group, where you can gather and learn from each other, and your retention level will be high, and probably some analytical questions you could get new insights and approaches, like how to write them and how to create a framework for a 20 marker, because these days analytical questions are being asked in a high frequency. So these are my uh, takeaways from journey, which I believe would help you guys to excel in anthro. Since the audience here is of various stages, some are ahead in preparation, some have started now. I have few advices based on different stages of preparation. If those who are starting now have started very recently, start with the basic understanding of all the chapters and entire syllabus. And those who are those have done the basic understanding part and foundation part, I advise them to focus more on building clarity of what you have studied, and practice of writing answers daily. And there is another set of audience, I believe, who have done this part but are not able to propel their scores, who might be stuck into 40s to 50s. For them, I would advise uh, keep whatever you have read and whatever you have made, whatever notes you have made. But above that, try to see which areas you think you are not confident enough, because you will yourself know which areas you are not comfortable, and try to build clarity on those areas, and try to use the 4 tips that I shared now, which can propel you easily 10 to 20 marks. And above that, it is your day, how you perform the paper, which will ensure 300 or 270. So that's it from my end, and thank you and all the best for being so patient and allowing me to share my journey, so that I hope this helps you in some way, and I would like to see most of you yeah, in the office in future. Any questions? I have a question here. Dhananjay has asked, how much time does it take to complete, let's say, one topic, for example, 6 anthropological theories, along with notes making? Because it takes me 3 to 4 hours to complete just one question of the theory. Uh, Dhananjay, I would like to say, don't consider theories as one topic. Theories is the lens I'm telling. It is the entire umbrella or the globe under which the anthropology sits. So you should not be worried of how much hours you are spending on theories. Your concern should be how much understanding you are gaining after studying. And even if it is taking 1 day or 2 days for a single theory, please devote it, because it is the clarity that ensures you understanding of other topics of anthropology, the family, kinship, marriage, and any other socio-cultural anthropology. Your understanding will be better only if you are good with the theories. Uh, so don't worry about time in your initial phase. Worry more on understanding, and upon that you try to make notes as much as possible based on your comfort. In my perspective, if I were to prepare now, I would take around say 2 3 days for one theory. There are some theories which can be done in one day itself. Considering all those some 9 10 theories, it would be around 1 month if you are doing it leniently. If you are doing it rigorously, you can do it in 15 to 20 days maybe. So that is the time I believe would require for making notes for theories. Which answers? There is another question, Manu. Which answers to write for daily answer writing, PYQs or anything else? Yes, this is a good question. For daily answer writing, uh, PYQs should be your priority, because PYQs gives you two perspectives. One is the area of focus, what UPSC is expecting, and what areas or topics that are considered as important based upon UPSC's PYQs. So one is area of focus. The other is the kind of uh, analytical nature that has been created in that question. Because what the current trend of anthropology paper setting has been going on, you will only know it based on PYQs, the pattern. So for two things you need PYQs, and third thing is obviously testing yourself based on those particular topics. So yes, prefer PYQs, and when you are exhausted with it, please do whatever is possible. And yes, above it, test series also helps, because when you are writing PYQs, you are only limiting yourself to particular topic. Say you are studying chapter 1 and you are writing PYQs of chapter 1, and that split approach is one thing, and when you are combining entire paper and writing it at one time, that is a different thing. Because in first case you will have greater retention, greater clarity, because you are limited to only one unit. But when you are taking the entire paper together, the dynamics changes completely. You need to remember a lot, your retention dips, and you will have the time pressure, and you will have confusion sometimes. So all those dynamics come into play when you are writing entire paper as a whole. So for that, test series are relevant. There is one more question. Vedant, he has asked that my graduation is in physics and not studied bio. Without background, how to make base and masters anthropology? Yes, I understand biology. Most of the people who have done engineering from IITs and NITs would not have taken biology as a subject, but you have that caliber, you have that basic analytical power, where you can simply study 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th biology in 2-3 days to get the basic understanding. Upon that, anthropology will become easy. And I'm also an engineer. I only studied biology for +1, +2. Apart from that, I didn't have any exposure to it. So not just me, most of the engineers who have taken anthropology are not usually from bio background. So that's not a big issue, I believe, because it only takes you few days. Maybe even if you are conservative, it might take only 1 week to study biology of 9, 10, 11, 12, because that's more than enough. Because what you need to have is the basic understanding of genetics and some understanding of human anatomy. That's it. And that you can do it in one day itself. But I'm being a bit conservative and uh, you know so yeah, you can opt it, and you, because there is this misnotion that only those from bio background can do anthro, or it is easier for them to do anthro and not for others. It's a misnomer. For anthropology, the bio itself is very limited. It's only required till the point of understanding of what is genetics and what is human parts anatomy. That's it. Apart from it, there is very little biology in it. I mean, the biology that is feared. uh, that's it from these guys. Do you have any questions, please? Yeah, thank you. A mains anthropology? Yes, it is mandatory. If you want to score high, it is required to complete the paper. But yeah, this time I didn't know the question of Purum. There was this 10 marker. uh, I didn't know anything about it, so I had to leave it blank. So I left 10 marks this time.
And did you write the deep ecology question, the previous attempts? Deep ecology, another 10 markers.
Yes, yes. I attempted it. You need to. That's why such questions. He has asked few questions like deep ecology and animism, I believe. And there was another question, environmentalism and some. Sorry, I'm not able to recall that. And there was this another question, Varna and Buddhism. These kind of questions you can only answer when you have understanding of the concept, because you can't prepare for these kind of questions when you are in the hall. I mean, when you are in your preparation, because you can't think that way. What is he linking there? But if you know the concepts of Varna, the Buddha, or the animism and the deep ecology very clearly, you will be able to interlink them. That's why clarity is very, very much required. Anything else? I have questions here. Ben has asked, instead of making own notes, can we rely on test series model answers of Karandeep Sirs of last 2 years? Sorry, Ben, I don't know how much test series would cover as a syllabus, because you need to, if you want to score high, you need to have notes for the entire syllabus, because test series obviously it has its own limitations. They can't cover the entire syllabus, and moreover, if you want to have the thorough understanding of any topic, you can't just do it by one question. You need to have all WH of it. So I would suggest, don't do own notes. At least try to take from toppers or something else and build over it, and please do your own notes. Rajat has asked, akin to theories in paper 1, what is the foundational umbrella for paper 2? Yes, this is a good question. Foundational umbrella. Again, most people try to segregate paper 1 and paper 2. Paper 1, the theories itself is a foundational umbrella here. It's for anthropology. I never said it is for paper 1. It is for anthropology itself. In paper 2, what happens? The same lenses, the same theories have been used to understand Indian society. Various Indian thinkers, Indian anthropologists, which we study in Unit 4, they try to use the same theories because they are somewhere associated with one or the other schools, like functionalism or structuralism. So they try to analyze Indian society through those lenses. So same thing applies for here as well. And one more thing for paper 2 is Indian village studies and tribal studies, because entire paper 2, it's about application of anthropology to Indian specific. So for that you need to have good understanding on the studies made by Indian anthropologists or other anthropologists on Indian societies and Indian tribes, because everything else seems to be very generic and social kind of thing. But these three things make it anthropology, and that fetches more marks. Okay, I believe that's your question is answered. Sanchit, I have a question. Sir, I have a question. I have completed my foundation, but during the course, I didn't write any answers. And in 2026 is my first attempt, sir. My problem is I fear answer writing, and due to that, I don't know when to start and how to start answer writing. So this inertia, it's there with everyone. Sanchit, don't worry at all. It took me nearly 4 years to write my first answer, but don't do that mistake, because the same reason it took me last attempt to clear. If you are afraid of writing answer, try to write one page one day. Don't start with the mindset that you will write a good answer or a competitive answer or that which will be appreciated. Don't start with that mindset, because you can't do it right away. I'll tell my own example. When I look at my answers that I wrote 3 years back, I laugh at them, because such is the standard of it, a very low standard. Because then I had little clarity. Now I have better clarity. So as and when you write more and you understand more, you spend more time and more revision, your understanding will refine, and your answer writing capability will be enhanced, and your own confidence will be boosted up. So start writing now, or don't delay whatsoever. Don't fear. Let your friend crack a joke on it. Take it, because at least you are writing, and those who don't write are bound to fall back in this exam. So you must write, no matter how it is, because writing, the rigorous writing is the very demand of the main stage. So you don't have an option. So please start writing. Aditya, I am 2027 aspirant. I am in a completing phase of anthropology, both paper 1 and paper 2. I didn't write too much answers. So what can I do next? Can I join Karan Sir's test series that is occurring on June, July? Since you have not written too many answers, I would suggest start writing answers from today itself. You can at least, despite I understand that you have pre-upcoming, but you can write at least one answer a day. You can spare 15 to 20 minutes a day, prepare any topic and write that topic after 2 days. Don't write right after you are reading it. Write it after a day or after 2 days, so that you will have that recall memory, and whatever you're reading, writing will remain with you. You can start now and write at least those topics that are important and that you feel which you are not comfortable. Those topics where you feel comfortable and you think that you can write there without much practice, you can keep them in second list. And about test series, like I said, test series is necessary and relevant because you need to think the entire paper there, and the dynamics change when you are writing in separate topics and when you are writing the entire paper as a whole. So for that, I suggest you to write full length test series. Ben, again Ben has asked one question. Please suggest a way to cover archaeology. How did you prepare it, sir? Archaeology, yes, this is the nightmare of anthropology, isn't it? Paper 1. Archaeology, I relied on 𝐂𝐿 material for most part, because once you read and make your notes, it is done. Because after that, what helps you is only cramming. No matter how well you understand, without cramming, you can't write a competitive answer of archaeology. So rely on 𝐂𝐿 material, and some of the questions directly come from 𝐂𝐿 material. I have seen them. They are directly picked from 𝐂𝐿 exercises. So you can refer 𝐂𝐿 material. Sumalata has asked a question: how to approach for anthropology paper 1 and paper 2? Like I discussed earlier, paper 1, it's more about focus on physical anthropology and theories, and your emphasis should be on clarity on theories and objectivity in physical anthropology. You should be more thorough in your facts in physical anthropology, because that fetches the marks. Their examiner cannot deduct due to relative bias. For instance, this time we had a Mousterian tradition question, Mousterian culture. Since I have studied 𝐂𝐿 material, we had a subcultures in it. We have 5 subcultures in Mousterian traditions. Since I had them in my notes, I wrote them. I think very few people would have written those. So that gives an edge without having to worry too much about value addition. Such basic things can also give you an edge. Paper 2. Paper 2, it's more about using your anthropology that you have studied in paper 1 concepts, and in Indian anthropologists' works, you should be able to use them analytically in the answers. So that is the key for paper 2. Otherwise, everyone would be knowing the basic facts and surroundings of the topics. But what pushes you above that 125, 130 is how you use them analytically in your answers. So try to be analytical in your approach for paper 2. So that's my suggestion. Rajat, I have written 2 UPSC mains, not scoring well in paper. Kindly give tips for paper 2 tribal portion. Tribal portion. In tribal portion, the basic problems of tribes and all, they are generally addressed well by most of the candidates. Where the issue lies is the ethnicity chapter, tribe and nation state. The questions pertaining to these 2 units are not addressed or not understood well by many of the candidates. So I would suggest you work on those units and try to link them with the tribal related analytical questions. This time I attended that bunch of question, which I don't remember the number of the question, but it had 2 questions about tribe and nation state and ethnicity, and I personally felt that I'll fetch good marks for it, because that is one of the most feared areas. But if you are writing it well, you will get that edge. And Sir's video, he has explained it really well, tribe and nation state, because that was one gap which I filled through Karandeep Sir's video classes. Keshav, how to interlink paper 1 with paper 2 for holistic understanding of the subject? Yes, this has been addressed by most of the toppers, I believe. Almost all toppers would have talked about a linking of paper 1 and paper 2, like the structuralism, the functionalism, and sometimes the other theories like the food nexus theory of paper 1 to tribal issues. Uh, Even the chapter 9-10 growth studies of the secular trend, the concept of secular trend can be used in paper 2, where you can tell that the tribal stunting levels, the wasting levels, and undernutritions are related to that concept. How you know that? uh, I don't have the syllabus in front of me now. I forgot that, so I'm not able to gather more examples. But yes, find a way to link them, because the entire paper 1 is designed to know the concepts, and paper 2 is apply that concept to Indian context. So you have that clarity there. So try to link them to paper 2 as much possible for you. And you can link even the theories, the debates, the nature nurture debate you can use in paper 2 aram se. There are many debates apart from nature nurture. Try to identify those debates, the core debates of anthropology, and try to use them in answers wherever it is possible. It's not that you must use those in whenever it is about growth and development. You can use it somewhere else as well. Suppose sometimes this question comes, the integration assimilation policy of tribes, right? Which approach we should use, or what are the approaches for tribal development? There you can use nature nurture type debate, because some anthropologists say they should be integrated in mainstream by our own ways of life. Some say we should keep their ways of life intact. One is talking about nature, one is talking about nurture. So you can use this debate there. So if you keep your eye open, you can link it. So sit and think and you will get it, and try to do it for as much topics as possible. Even if you are able to write for 2 questions, you will be rewarded very high for entire paper. Don't think that you will only get extra marks in those 2 questions. For those 2 questions you will get extra marks, but for other questions of your paper also you will get extra marks. Yes, interlinking is a must for scoring high. Aditya has sorry, we have one more question. If I only prepare PYQ of last 10 years, will it be enough to score to 250 plus? Yes, Ben, I believe yes, you can score 250 plus if you are able to solve last 10 years paper thoroughly. But the catch is it should not be like a guidebook where you have the question and answer of last 10 years and you feel that you will go and write that information in the upcoming year. That would not work. But if you are solving that, you will have a fair idea that whatever you have read, and whatever the kind of the nature of questions that have been asked, you will be able to attempt them decently. So yes, it will certainly help you score to 50 plus, but ensure that once you run through the basics first, then as a revision strategy you can use the PYQs, not as a guidebook. Okay, next we have a question. Sir, can you tell again which topic of anthropology are difficult in conceptual case to study? Can you be clear? I didn't get the question. Which topics are difficult in conceptual understanding? I believe this is what he's trying to ask. In conceptual part, anthropology, the theories, because evolutionism everyone understands, but once you move after diffusionism, people start to crumble, because some kind of confusion, the lack of clarity of premises start to occur there. So theories is one part. Epidemiology, it is difficult, because epidemiology from medical science perspective is different, from anthropological perspective it is different. So that is a difficult topic. And the third thing is the tribe and nation state and ethnicity. This chapter you need to have very clear understanding, because the very concept of race, ethnicity, population, ethnic identity, they are a bit confusing and overlapping sometimes. The tribe, nation, state, even sometimes I sometimes get confused after revisions, but such is the nature of the concepts, because they have very subtle differences, which you will understand only with clarity. Uh, and the fourth one I would suggest is Indian anthropologist. You need to have thorough understanding about Indian anthropologists and their works, because for paper 2, that is the, we can say, the power play scorer. So these four are the units I suggest, Ben, where you need conceptual understanding. Nikhil, sir, can you please tell which questions did you attempt in both paper? Sorry, Nikhil, I don't have the questions paper right now. I hope I'll try to tell wherever I get an opportunity to speak again. Mohit, sir, I gave mains this year and I was unable to complete paper. Attempted around 13 to 14 questions. Yes, I believe this is because you have not probably done answer writing, or you might be having serious issue with speed. So those are the only two reasons probably that you are not able to complete the paper. I would suggest write more, and if the problem is not understanding the question or not knowing what to write, then you should try to brush up your basics and work more on rebuilding the clarity and understanding of the topics. Dhananjay again, when to start daily answer writing? Should we start it from day one? Don't start directly from your day one. This is my advice again. You can differ, because to write answer, at least you need to have some clarity. You can't go and play the match right away. You need to train for some time at least. Then you can go play, no matter how it is. But you should spend at least a month or two in anthropology, in studying anthropology. After that, start writing from the base, what you have studied initially. But don't start to write right after your first class or whatever. I would not suggest it, because your understanding will be very bleak after first few class, and the clarity on discipline would not have been emerged until then. After spending 1 or 2 months, you will have some faint picture of the subject, so you will have some good idea to start writing. So that is my take. I have one more question. Sir, my last question, like after prelims, the scenario changes a lot. So, sir, then how to approach optional from June, like from the failure of prelims to breaking the inertia of answers writing, and to start reading plus writing and gaining command on optional? Yes, Sanchit has asked really a good question. When we are preparing optional in this peace time, it is a different game. And when we do it after prelims, it is a different game, because the dynamics and the stakes amplify there. You need to carry 5 more subjects along with anthropology, then you can't ignore your GS and your essay. So the dynamics definitely change. I would suggest you start writing answers right after your prelims. If you're doing it for first 40 days, you will have a decent command on anthropology, and for next 40 days you can write your tests and you can focus on the GS. But write at least 5 questions a day for first 40 to 50 days, because you will be having 90 days after pre. If you are writing for 45 days 5 questions, that too those topics which you feel tough, or those topics or those areas which you feel are very important for this year based on previous year trend. So write those questions, because that will be a win-win. You will be able to complete your task of writing and the task of completing the critical syllabus. So right, that is my advice. Otherwise, if you are not done much in optional before pre, it's very difficult to gain command after pre. The best you can do is try to do whatever you have thoroughly. That's it, because unlike earlier days, these days we have 1 month less, where it leaves very little room for preparing optional from the base. So that's it. No, we have few more questions. My attempt is of 2028. Then if I just complete the lectures now and then focus on answer writing later, is this approach correct? Yes sir, you can, since you are planning to attempt for 2028. You can do that, but ensure that after listening to the lectures, you at least build the notes. If you are not doing that and you are only trying to write it after some time, neither you will be having the retention of the understanding, nor you will be able to write an average answer there. So at least make notes now, you can probably write later. That is an option. We have a question: what type of answer structure according to you helps to build a good and high scoring answer for anthropology? This again is very much required. The answer structure depends on the number of marks. For 10 markers, it is more about the dimension. The more the dimensions you write, the more the marks you can expect. But there is a catch here. Sometimes he asks simply a concept. Then don't try to write too many dimensions there. Devote nearly 40% for explaining the concept thoroughly. Then remaining 50 to 60% for other dimensions of it. Rather than simply defining that and trying to write the dimensions, focus 40% on concept, explaining the concept in detail. So that is the catch. For 15 markers and 20 markers, the approach is same. You need to address the question based on the demands, create subparts, and try to devote adequate spaces for each subpart based on the requirement. I'll give you some hints which you can use to write answer in general. For anything you can define, for any question you can define that concept. This could be intro outright. You need not introduce and then again define. This could be outright introduction. Then you can explain the concept with example if you have. Then you might be having features of the concepts. You might have features, you have characters, or sometimes you might have types in that concept, maybe like fieldwork methods and all. And as other time you can use criticism, merits, and sometimes relevance as other dimension, right? So these could be your indicators where you can create dimensions. For 20 markers, like I said, you should not simply name them and run. You should explain them. If you are writing for 20 markers, you should not simply name the types like type 1, we can say like interview, oral history, sometimes schedule and questionnaire. You should explain there for 20 marks. For 10 marks, simply you can name them and leave. So that is the difference. It's more about elaboration. For 20 marks, 15 marks, what is expected is you are explaining it. For 10 marks, what is expected it, you are knowing it well, in depth. So in depth means multiple dimensions. Explaining means clarity. Mm. And one more thing here, as a conclusion, you can create your own conclusion. Conclusion, you can use some quotes, or sometimes a debate, or sometimes a current touch. It depends on how you use that. Sometimes you can use your own creative way. For instance, I used this time, we had a question on genetic marker. I concluded it as genetic marker are Aadhaar card of nature. So this was my conclusion. It sounds bit unique, and it shows the clarity as well. Aadhaar card is identity here, because these are the unique identifiers, right? Genetic markers are unique identifiers. So by using that, sometimes that breaks the monotony, and that creative expressions might impress the evaluator. So these are the tips where try to do for high scoring in anthropology. Sid, I hope your question is answered. Now we have one more question. To what extent current affairs play a role in anthropology, be it paper 1 or paper 2? For anthropology, please don't worry too much on current affairs, because the current things are mostly academic and exploratory. They don't ask such questions which are not stabilized. Suppose some excavations might have been going on. They don't expect analytical questions from that. You don't expect that analytical questions from those, but simply have an open eye for such topics, and try to go back and focus more on those topics. So that is about current affairs. Otherwise, as far as the trend has been uh, till this year, there are no current affair based question or any kind of sort of things. But yes, sometimes they can be a pointer, like they have asked few anthropologists who have deceased recently. uh, Jane Goodell was one. In some marquee event associated with some most renowned figures, could point you towards some question, but otherwise not a big issue. And the same state will be with the fellow candidates. Even if you are missing it, it's only one question where your relative loss will be really less, because most of your fellow candidates would be on same plane. So please don't worry about current affairs. That's what I understand. Yes, but in current affairs can help you in a way to create an edge, not to create a question, but you can use them in your answers as an edge. Like I said, I tried to use Vaibhav Suryavanshis the case in forensic anthropology. So that can give you edge. That shows that yes, he is aware, and he uses his anthropology otherwise as well. So that sends a good impression. And paper 2, yes, I forgot. In paper 2, current affairs plays a good role because the issues of tribals, the forest related laws, they keep evolving. So you need to have that current updated data and happenings about them. Vedant, if you have taken coaching from Karandeep Sir, then how it help you? How his notes help you in preparation? Vedant, I have not taken coaching from Karandeep Sir, but I got access to his videos through my friend, and I relied for 4 topics, like I said earlier, which were a huge gap in my preparation: the theories, the epidemiological anthropology, tribe, nation, state, ethnicity, and Indian anthropologists. These were the 4 areas where Sir's class came to my rescue. My clarity, went on top notch. So I can't tell otherwise because I use this much. But yes, what I can vouch is the depth and clarity of understanding is unparalleled. So that I can vouch. You can probably rely on it and make good notes of his classes and probably score well. Any questions? Wait. One more thing. The theories, no matter what you do, please watch Sir's theories videos and epidemiology videos thoroughly and make notes out of it and in the required format. Theories is a must. Only his videos can give you the clarity and depth that is required for a UPSC Anthropology paper 1. You can't get it from any other book or not even ChatGPT for that matter, because GPT only tells what it because it has its own assumptions and it don't get into the works of theorists. This has to be from academic background, and Sir's videos covers it really well and exhaustively. So please do that.
Sir, I have a question related to Chat GPT. Like, sir, it gives lots of facts. So, how to segregate that something have to remember or like left it out?
GPT,
Yes, sir, GPT.
you are asking for a
Like, it's give lots of fact. If I ask some kind of question on GPT, so sir, how to segregate like this portion has to remember or to left out some portion?
yes. Let me spend some time on using GPT. See, don't use GPT for question answer format. That won't help, because you ask the same questions, it gives 10 different response for 10 different times, and every response uh, may not be fully complete for the demand of the question, right? How you can use ChatGPT is to understand the frame, how it is trying to frame the answer. That you can use for analytical questions. Don't use ChatGPT for every kind of questions. For those questions where you feel that you don't know how to break it, you don't know what the demand is, there you try to use the GPT. From the response of ChatGPT, you can understand and try to grab what we are supposed to think, not the content. Try to catch the pattern, because if you run after the content from GPT, that is endless, and you'll probably end up in problem of plenty and less clarity. But again, you can use GPT for understanding the concepts well. Whenever you feel like you're not understanding some topic well, or you are again forgetting it or getting confused again and again, use ChatGPT and try to ask it that in such a manner that it explains to you in a layman terms, not like a academician, right? Should ask it in such a manner. The prompt is really must be tuned to that language. If you ask it like please explain this to a sixth class kid, you will get the clarity. And once you get that clarity, again ask it, please explain it to 12th class kid. Because in explaining to 6th class kid, it tries to omit some things. It only tries to keep the most critical part of the concept. But your job is to understand the concept in its holistic angles, right? So that is to only to understand, not to limit yourself to that level. So two ways you can use ChatGPT. One is gain more clarity. Another is identify framework or analytical questions. So these are the two ways which can help you well. Don't try to use it as a base material. You will end up in a dead, endless circle. So that's it.
Firstly, congratulations. Sir, I want to ask one question. It is necessary to draw a diagram in each and every question.
No, it is not necessary to draw each and every question, but wherever it is required, you are expected to draw. Suppose in kinship chapter, we have these kind of diagrams, right? You can use them, but it's okay sometimes if you're not using them. It's not compulsory. But in archaeology, you are expected to draw skull diagrams and all. That is compulsory. Forensic anthropology, archaeology, fossils, uh, and is there any other thing? You understand, right? These areas you are expected to draw. And one more thing is you can use these as an edge tool. You can create your own flow or diagrams for some theories, because I created some diagrams for theories which you can use to create an edge over your fellow competitors. Because when you are putting theory in a simple diagram, that exhibits clarity, and that is highly rewarded. So you can use it in two ways. One is where it is required in compulsory manner, another is to create edge. And wherever using the diagrams to create edge, that should be from your own brain, or probably you can derive it from your friends as well, but try to keep it your own unique. I'll tell you. See, perfect नहीं, लेकिन जो की कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स रहता है, दोज की कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स दैट मस्ट बी विजिबल. जैसे कि हम इरेक्टस का करते हैं, तो यहाँ पे लोब रहता है. दिस हैज टू बी विजिबल. ऐसा नहीं कि हमने ऐसे कर दिया, ये ऐसा एक करो चलता है, ये यहाँ पे कुछ करो हो गया, प्रॉब्लम नहीं है. या फिर होमो सेपियंस का आएगा, तो यहाँ पे विजिबल चिन्ह आना चाहिए. ऐसा जो डिफाइनिंग रहता है, वो चीज को कॉम्प्रोमाइज नहीं करना है. बाकी चीजें एडजस्टेबल रहता है, एंड दैट वोंट बी पेनलाइज्ड. This time I didn't get an opportunity to use those diagrams, but yes, I created some diagrams. There was this Victor Turner's liminality concept, right? We have there is a social drama concept, not liminality. You understand, right? Social drama. What are the 4 stages that we have in social drama? You don't remember? Okay. Let me explain the simple things then. Okay, have you read Functionalism of Milanowski? Because you won't understand if I'm telling that concept which you have not read. Milanowski, you understood the charter, right? You have charter, institution. The framework of institution is it has a charter, right? Akshay Jain's book has this diagram, but I'm using it in my own way. And it has some apparatus. Apparatus means materials and personnel, right? They create some function. This was the diagram, I believe. Functions through which a need is fulfilled, right? This is the institution. Functionalism, what it tries to basically tell is anything that exists culturally, it is only to fulfill the needs of human. And every institution, like let's take marriage. Marriage has some charter, right? Charter means some rule book, right? What should be the marriage? Suppose let's take marriage. Is it visible for you guys? Or should I write it above? Suppose let's take the institute of marriage. Okay. What is the charter of marriage? In India, in Hindu society, it is monogamy, right? This is the rule. And what is the apparatus that is required? You have some equipments like whatever and all, the personal, both families, right? The bride and groom, the priest, right? And whatever apparatus that is required. And what function it serves? Function of procreation plus the biological need, right? Are you able to make sense? Some people might not understand what it is, but this example will tell what Malinowski is trying to tell. So that shows the clarity of the subject. I hope your question is answered. Because I have forgotten what diagrams I have made, because it's been quite some time now, and I was relieved right after my mains because it was my last attempt, and I put away all my notes, so I have some faint memory. I tried to explain it from it. Yes. The revision strategy was simple. I had my short notes, which I used to revise it multiple times. Short notes in the sense I simply had in this format. If suppose this same, let's take the same topic, marriage. Okay, I had the definition. I would not write definition in my notes, but I'll simply write the name, scholar that I would use, or his work. This was my revision notes. Or if any specific keywords that was in his definition, specific keywords, because some scholar definition have specific keywords, like Taylor's cultural definition has that holistic inclusive part of kind, right? And after that, what I'll have is what are the views about marriage, the functionalism, the structuralism kind of thing. And then marriage, we have different types and relation with kinship, right? This was my note making style. This took only 30 seconds to glance one topic. So in that fashion, I had only this much notes to revise for entire paper 1 and paper 2 combined. It was, I think, some 70-80 pages at best. Yes, because entire family, kinship, marriage would fit in 3 pages. Those 2 chapters. Only physical would be bit exhaustive. Otherwise, social will fit in very short format because you would be knowing the details of it, right? So you won't require them to see again and again. Spend your energy on revising the key facts. So that was my note making style and revision strategy. Once you complete with your basics, clean understanding, and then you have some base notes, this should be your second notes, not first notes. Once you have your detailed notes, from that notes you make this short notes. Don't do right away don't make notes right away from in this style. You have your base notes, because tomorrow what happens, I forget what this scholar said, where you will go? Should go to your basic notes. Your basic notes can be very exhaustive, but your short notes should be very specific and clear. Keep your basic notes exhaustive only, because that is required for better understanding of concepts. Until you have some good grasp, you need to look at them again and again. So keep it thoroughly, that's not a problem. But for revision and writing answers, you should concise it. Anything else? Yes. Thank you guys, thank you for being patient and listening to me. Thank you. And I would like to thank you, LevelUp and Karandeep Sir, for giving me this opportunity to share whatever possible little help that I can do to my fellow aspirants who are aspiring to become future public service servants. Thank you again.